Pastor Ben of Redemption Ministries in St. Lucia, inviting you to listen to the ever-popular telecast Dayspring on Choice TV every Sunday morning from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Dayspring has been an integral component of the spiritual development of St. Lucia over the past 40 years. Join me, your host, for Dayspring every Sunday morning and expect a new day to spring in your life.
Immigration police try to them how what by
Mofino stay son of match.
people who know me look at me as being a humble little guy, you know.
Show up a lady. Madi se kuma se mai mun to hai.
Hello, excuse me, I'm back.
Voice of the People, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Choice TV.
Be sure to like us on Facebook at Choice TV SLU. Stay up to date with the latest entertainment and news stories that matter most. What are you waiting for?
Time check brought to you by Massey Home, your way to a beautiful home.
You're watching Choice TV, the people's choice for TV.
Made in Georgia.
Let the heavens rejoice. Hello, everyone. I am Reverend Benedict Jean-Baptiste, Pastor Ben of Redemption Ministries in St. Lucia, inviting you to listen to the ever-popular telecast Dayspring on Choice TV every Sunday morning from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Dayspring has been an integral component of the spiritual development of St. Lucia over the past 40 years. Join me, your host, for Dayspring every Sunday morning and expect a new day to spring in your life.
Immigration police try to them how what by
Mofino stay son of match.
people who know me look at me as being a humble little guy, you know.
Show up a lady. Madi se kuma se mai mun to hai.
Hello, excuse me, I'm back.
Voice of the People, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Choice TV.
Be sure to like us on Facebook at Choice TV SLU. Stay up to date with the latest entertainment and news stories that matter most. What are you waiting for?
Time check brought to you by Massey Home, your way to a beautiful home.
You're watching Choice TV, the people's choice for TV. This segment of the news brought to you by Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need. Hello everyone, welcome to Choice News Now Prime. I'm Shane Cherry. Watch the broadcast live on our Choice TV Facebook page, Choice TV SLU, and our YouTube channel at Choice TV St. Lucia. Or listen to the simulcast on Liberty Radio 92.3 FM. In the news tonight, St. Lucia's Foreign Affairs Minister clarifies the U.S. St. Lucia MOU on a possible transfer of third country nationals. A new Rodney Bay restaurant highlights the hospitality growth and challenges in attracting young skilled workers. CDF Youth Summer Arts Platform is set to showcase over 100 young St. Lucian creatives. And in news from the region, St. Kitts and Nevis showcases 10 major capital projects on the Sustainable Island State Agenda. In our top story tonight, St. Lucia's agreement with the United States on the possible transfer of third country nationals is back in focus after External Affairs Minister Alva Baptiste addressed Parliament on the latest developments. The minister sought to clarify key concerns surrounding the arrangement while defending government's quiet diplomatic approach to negotiations. Sienna Dalson begins our newscast.
In Parliament on Tuesday, the 11th of August, the External Affairs Minister, Alva Baptiste, offered a statement on ongoing negotiations with the United States regarding the potential for St. Lucia to receive third country nationals, or TCNs. Baptiste described his ministry's approach as one of quiet diplomacy that is strategically patient and also strategically silent. Against the backdrop of growing migration concerns among developed nations, as well as other significant changes within the international community, Baptiste presented a timeline of St. Lucia's engagement and negotiations with the United States. He places at the start of this timeline a July 2025 meeting between officials of the U.S. State Department with the ambassadors to Washington from St. Lucia, alongside a handful of Eastern Caribbean states running Citizenship by Investment (CBI) programs.
The United States officials explained that the U.S. had realized that a large number of individuals who come to the U.S. seeking refugee status often decline when given the option of obtaining asylum in a third country. This has led U.S. officials to believe that this system has actually worked, and has led U.S. officials to believe that these asylum claims are not genuine and often be deterred by presenting the individuals with other options.
As a means of deterring persons seeking refugee status in the United States, the State Department officials expressed interest in expanding the countries with which it has third-party agreements, intending in this case to expand to Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia.
The U.S. officials therefore proposed the signing of similar agreements between the U.S. and each of the four countries. They were of the view that given the importance of such agreements to U.S. migration efforts, their very existence would appease parties who were actively advocating visa restrictions on CBI countries.
Baptiste said U.S. officials stressed that the engagement reflects a willingness, not an obligation, for St. Lucia to consider proposed third country nationals. The negotiations then proceeded in 3 stages. The cabinet first approved the MOU in January, while operating procedures were finalized in July 2026.
Individuals not eligible for removal to St. Lucia under the MOU are 1. Unaccompanied children under the age of 18, citizens or nationals of St. Lucia, and free individuals with criminal records known to the government of the United States, except in relation to violations of U.S. immigration law.
Negotiations are in their final stage, where the minister says the government's greatest concern lies determining the extent to which the U.S. intends to fit the bill for the program's implementation.
Last week, the Cabinet of Ministers agreed to a memorandum from the Ministry of External Affairs proposing a comprehensive package of financial requirements by St. Lucia for implementation of the agreement. And this has been submitted to the U.S. Embassy in Bridgetown. We are currently awaiting a response. St. Lucia and the United States are therefore in the third and final phase of the negotiations over TCNs.
The External Affairs Minister mentioned that a united Eastern Caribbean approach to negotiations was in the sub-region's best interest, but ultimately did not come to fruition. Baptiste reiterated his commitment to projecting St. Lucia's national interests with thoughtful regard for evolving realities of the international systems, and not to jeopardize national interest in doing so. He further committed to transparency from here on out. For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalson.
For years, educators have stressed that schools must prepare students not only for examinations, but for life beyond the classroom. Yet, as more young people enter the workforce, concerns persist over gaps in practical knowledge, confidence, and professional readiness. The debate is raising fresh questions about whether the education system is doing enough to equip students with the skills needed to succeed in the workplace. Kishana Smith tells us more.
The transition from school to the workplace can be challenging for young people, particularly when academic qualifications do not always provide practical knowledge of employment. While students receive instruction in traditional subjects, there are growing calls for schools to also teach essential workplace skills, including employee rights and responsibilities, workplace ethics, conflict resolution, sick leave, taxation, and other procedures. The issue was raised during Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, where Education Minister Honorable Kenton Kazimi was asked whether such practical knowledge could be incorporated into the classroom to better prepare students for employment. Kazimi drew a parallel with the philosophy used in sport, where lessons are taught not for sports but for life. He argued that education should adopt a similar approach, ensuring students leave school not only academically qualified, but also equipped with the awareness, discipline, and practical skills needed to navigate the realities of the work environment.
It is my biggest concern with the education sector, because for me, even in sport, if you look at the direction we've taken in sport, it's sports for life. So from the grassroots program, you're supposed to be having life-altering programs to ensure that our young people are developing into more meaningful citizens. And so that is what the education sector is supposed to be doing.
The minister pointed to the broader skills and competencies being incorporated into students' development as the ministry seeks to ensure that young people are equipped not only with academic knowledge, but with the tools needed to function effectively in society.
We have a lot of that actually going on in terms of ensuring that life skills are instilled in our children. Because I keep saying to my twins that at the end of the day, you can have all the grades in the world, but a nasty attitude will not land you a job. You will not be successful in life. So I think with most of what we're doing in the school system is trying to ensure that we have that balance. Do we need more of that? I think we do. I think we will be implementing a lot of programs that are off the books, that are more, life skills centered, team building, ethics in education, in life, and that sort of thing, to ensure that we have a more well-rounded workforce in the future.
However, even with the introduction and integration of soft skills such as financial literacy and conflict resolution into the classroom, there remains a need for greater engagement between educational institutions and the corporate sector. Employers and other industry stakeholders could play a more active role by visiting schools and engaging students on the realities, expectations, and demands of the modern workplace. Such interactions could provide young people with practical insights into workplace culture, professional conduct, employee responsibilities, and the skills employers value, ultimately helping to better prepare students for the transition from education into employment. The discussion comes amid continuing conversations about the readiness of young St. Lucians for employment, particularly as employers increasingly place emphasis on communication, professionalism, adaptability, critical thinking, and other soft skills alongside academic qualifications. For Choice News Now, I am Kishana Smith.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre is pointing to sustained economic activity as a key tool for strengthening government revenue amid mounting fiscal pressures. Responding to questions on voluntary tax compliance and revenue losses, Pierre said continued economic growth remains critical to generating income for the state. Sienna Dawson reports.
Following his comments on efforts to strengthen voluntary tax compliance, the Prime Minister was asked how the government intends to recover revenue amid losses linked to cushioning the economy from rising oil prices and reduced access to grant funding. The Prime Minister pointed to increasing economic activity and growth as key contributors to stronger revenue generation.
That comes from economic activity, right? That's why we encourage investment. The more people employed, the more VAT we collect. The more people, the more investments that in the country, the more people purchase, the more people's buying power increases, the more consumption. Right now, our main revenue source comes from duties, excise tax, import duty, VAT, and health and security levy.
The Prime Minister also responded to critics who reduced the government's record of revenue generation to increased inflation.
You may tell me that these figures are high because of inflation. Very incomplete economic analysis. Very incomplete. And sometimes people who know better deliberately have that level of thing. there must be an element of inflation in these prices, in that revenue. But the question is, if there was not an equivalent level of increase in economic activity, at some point the revenue will begin to decrease. Because people's purchasing power would be less, they would purchase less.
Ultimately, he attributed the government's continued revenue generation to economic expansion and investment in particular.
Economic expansion, ease of doing business, make it easier for investors, allow the country to grow at a faster rate with less impediments. That's the solution that we can have only to these questions, because a lot of inflation, we have nothing to do with it.
For Choice News Now, I am Sienna Dalso.
Coming up, a new Rodney Bay restaurant shines a spotlight on hospitality growth and the challenge of attracting skilled young workers. And the CDF Youth Summer Arts Platform prepares to showcase more than 100 young St. Lucian creatives. These stories and more coming up after the break. Stay with us. The news continues.
It's all about you and the dreams you believed, how you made your way ahead, all the goals you have achieved.
All along the way, you've been a partner so true, all the way you've seen me through.
We're all the bank you need. It's still about you and the life you're shaping now, all the doors that open wide, every step, every vow.
All along the way, you'll be a partner so true, all the way you've seen me through.
We're all the bank you need. We're the Bank of St. Lucia, so bank on your future. We're the Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Celebrating 25 years strong. Bank of St. Lucia, all the bank you need.
Massey Store's waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Store's City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and ring-a-ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Welcome back. The opening of Ahlen Restaurant in Rodney Bay is highlighting Northern St. Lucia's expanding hospitality sector. Industry stakeholders say growing opportunities are being matched by persistent challenges in attracting and retaining skilled young workers. The new establishment has renewed calls for greater focus on preparing young people to recognize hospitality as a viable career path and equipping them with the skills needed to succeed. Kishana Smith tells us more.
As the newly opened Ahlen Restaurant adds fresh vibrancy to the Rodney Bay Strip, its launch also provided a platform to confront a pressing challenge facing businesses across St. Lucia, the persistent shortage of labor. Speaking ahead of the official ribbon-cutting ceremony, country manager of Falcon Holdings Limited, Roberto Polius, challenged young St. Lucians to look beyond conventional perceptions of employment and recognize the opportunities emerging within the island's expanding hospitality and business sectors. Her message was particularly pointed. Opportunities may exist, but their value is diminished when there is an unwillingness to pursue them. The sentiment comes at a time when she noted that the interest in the sector has diminished, with many employees across several sectors continuing to grapple with difficulties in recruiting and retaining workers within the hospitality, tourism, and food service industries, among those feeling the strain most acutely.
But that future brings us to an important conversation. Across hospitality today, we are experiencing a very serious labor challenge, particularly at the line level. Independent restaurants are competing for talent not only with one another, but with hotels, cruise ships, call centers, and other industries.
She cautioned that as St. Lucia continues along its path of economic growth and development, the availability of a skilled, capable, and willing workforce must evolve in tandem with the opportunities being created. Against this backdrop and through a series of thought-provoking rhetorics, she challenged stakeholders to consider whether a broad range of strategies and possibilities possibilities could be explored to address the persistent labor shortages affecting the hospitality sector.
What if we identified young St. Lucians who may never have considered hospitality as a career and gave them access to pathways into the industry? Not only technical skills training, but soft skills that exceptional hospitality requires. Communication, emotional intelligence, confidence, discipline, poise, self-awareness, and pride in service. What if we begin by teaching our young ones, especially those from vulnerable homes, that they are not the sum total of their backgrounds or their circumstances? We must start early, kindergarten, grade school, and continuing as they move through our education system.
She further remarked that employers can play a pivotal role by creating opportunities for hospitality enthusiasts to recognize the vast possibilities available within the sector, while demonstrating how the skills and competencies gained can be developed into meaningful and rewarding careers.
We can teach an employee to set tables and pour drinks, but they must first be prepared to manage themselves, to believe in their own abilities, and to trust that with hard work and discipline, they can change the trajectory of their lives. And what if we created a clear pathway for those who may not pursue tertiary education to see hospitality for what it truly is, a sustainable, long-term career where preparation meets opportunity? What if government, education, and industry work together on practical training, apprenticeships, and paid workplace experiences that can take a young person from "I have no experience" to "I have a career"?
The conversation therefore extends beyond the immediate needs of Allen Restaurant or the wider hospitality sector, touching on the broader question of how St. Lucia prepares its young people for a changing economy. While businesses continue to create opportunities, the challenge remains to ensure that young St. Lucians recognize the value of those opportunities and are equipped with the skills, confidence, and willingness to pursue them. For Choice News Now, I am Kishana Smith.
Non-managerial employees across CIBC Caribbean's 3 St. Lucia branches are set to receive a 9% wage increase from September, following successful negotiations between the National Workers' Union and bank management. General Secretary Johan Haywood says the agreement will provide timely relief from rising living costs and inflation, while demonstrating the value of constructive negotiations between employers and workers. Phoebe Popo has this story.
Following negotiations between CIBC Caribbean and the National Workers' Union, General Secretary Johan Haywood addressed the broader economic impact of the finalized salary package of unionized banking staff. Haywood emphasized that while no agreement is perfect, providing workers with tangible financial relief remains the union's top priority. Addressing the impact on daily life, Haywood explains that navigating the current economic environment presents ongoing challenges locally, regionally, and internationally. He stresses that giving workers added economic power helps directly ameliorate their personal financial circumstances and domestic obligations.
Well, every negotiation is different. There are factors that are not identical to every negotiation, whether it's in or out of the financial sector. So it's really a situation where you have to negotiate based on what's in front of you, and that is the approach that we have taken, and that's the approach we're continuing to take, looking at prevailing circumstances, the forecast, the future, where the bank and the employees are going to see themselves down the road. And
Haywood highlights that while the agreement represents a significant accomplishment for the employees, union efforts do not stop here. He notes that further work lies ahead down the road, and the NWU remains fully prepared to continue working jointly with the bank to serve employees' best interests.
These are the things you take into consideration rather than just saying everybody does X, so we will do X too, so to speak.
The agreement stands as a testament to constructive dialogue between labor and management. As bank workers look forward to the upcoming payout, the union reiterates its commitment building on the foundation to secure future employee welfare and financial stability. Reporting for Choice News Now, I am Phoebe Popo.
In tonight's Pod Profile, we get an update on ongoing works at the Bannans Bay redevelopment.
is July 2026 and we are here to show you all the progress that is currently underway at Bannons Bay Fisherman's Village. As you can see, we have our signature restaurant well underway, as well as the various fish shops, as well as vending and sale kiosks, where you, the public, are able to come in and participate in the purchase of fresh local fish in a hygienic and clean manner. Also, we have our tender jetty dedicated to vessels which will be anchored out, so visitors are able to safely come in and enjoy the facilities right here at Bannons Bay. We are so excited to see the entirety of this site come together, and more importantly for you, the public, to come in, enjoy, and see all the amenities that Bannons Bay Fisherman's Village has to offer.
This is Choice News Now Prime. More news coming up after the break. Stay with us.
We conducted a customer walkthrough exercise at the Vendors Arcade. In so being, we are able to understand from a customer point of view exactly what the experience would be like for both passengers as well as our locals. Here we were able to outline the positives and the benefits that they would be receiving, as well as our shortfalls and how we can improve when we are relocating to the new Vendors Arcade facility. The vendors are very excited and they are very receptive. They are working with us, and they are also outlining some issues that they may be experiencing as well that we may not necessarily see. In so doing, we are now able to provide an elevated experience for our passengers as well as our locals in the new facility. Things such as signage, for example. We are currently under phase 1 of the project, and we hope to have construction completed by the end of 2026.
Police try to be my how
Must know I stay son of match.
People who know me look at me as being a humble little guy, you know.
Show up, I mean, this lady. Madison, come say my moon to Hawaii.
Hello, excuse me, I'm back.
Voice of the People. Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Choice TV. Welcome back. More than 100 young St. Lucians are preparing to showcase their talent as the Cultural Development Foundation brings its annual Youth Summer Arts platform to a close. Under the theme Folk and Word, participants in Castries and VA4 received training in steel pan, traditional drumming and culinary arts ahead of a grand showcase on August 22nd at the National Cultural Center. CDF officials are urging the public to support the young creatives. Phoebe Popo tells us more.
The CDF's annual Summer Arts platform allows children and adolescents to build self-confidence and key life skills while preserving St. Lucia's cultural heritage and exploring future career paths in the creative arts. As this year's program culminates, over 100 young St. Lucians are getting ready to showcase their artistic talents. Centered on the theme Folk and Word, camps held in both Castries and Vieux Fort over the past 4 weeks offered hands-on training in steel pan, traditional drumming and culinary arts, specifically designed to honor and keep St. Lucia's vibrant traditions alive. The month-long initiative culminates in a grand showcase on Saturday, August 22nd, 2026 at 2 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. CDF Head of Training and Development Outreach, Tracy Dalsey, is calling on St. Lucians to turn out in full force to support the final production and applaud the accomplishments of the island's rising artistic talent.
I would like to encourage the public to come out to support the youth. We have been having the Youth Summer Arts platform. It culminates next week with our final production on the 22nd of August. There you will get to see the young people. We have over 100 participants who've taken part both in Castries and in Vieux Fort in the camps, and they'll be showcasing what they've learned in steel pan, drumming, traditional cooking, my favorite area this year, as well as African dance.
Dalsey shared why this platform is essential to teaching children heritage through arts.
This year our focus was on folk and word, trying to teach the kids about our heritage through the arts and through food. And we're hoping to have, as Mr. Wilkie, our senior training officer, would say, a 5 the experience. So you come there and all your senses will be ignited. So come out and support our Youth Summer Arts closing program, which is next week, Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Cultural Center.
The appreciation for art continues to take center stage in St. Lucia. The Cultural Development Foundation continues to be an avenue for the locals, especially youth, to gain knowledge on the country they inhabit. Reporting for Choice News Now, I am Phoebe Popo.
Officials at the Owen King EU Hospital say St. Lucians owe more than $20 million in unpaid medical bills, placing added pressure on the hospital's operations. With concerns mounting over the growing public debt, Choice TV took to the streets to ask St. Lucians what they think is driving the problem and what should be done to recover the outstanding funds. That's what the people had to say.
Yeah, well, of course, medicine, medical equipment is very expensive, it's costly. You have to purchase it with money. Of course, if we owe, we have to pay for the debts at the hospital. Those who can't afford, try and make an effort to pay it. Because we get the service. It's not a private hospital where they'll deny you service if you haven't got the money to pay. They will treat you in good faith. So I think we too should own up as people, the populace, to pay our debts when we leave the hospital as best as we can. Pay out something every month, right? Also too, but the health program, the health insurance will help. But in the interim, those who owe, pay something every month because the government needs the revenue to buy medical equipment, to buy medicine. It's very costly. But yeah, I encourage our people to pay up our debts to the hospital.
Well, I'm one of those persons that have for a long time advocating that persons should pay the hospital whatever they owe in when they are discharged from the hospital, because that's how you're going to run the hospital. That is how you're going to buy drugs. That is how you have to pay the doctors, the nurses. You know, so St. Lucians need to understand hospitals are not run just so. If you go to the US, when you are discharged, you are taken care of, then you pay. You go to Martinique, you pay. But once it's said, they refuse to pay. But we have a problem. Our politicians have given these St. Lucians that habit of handouts, and they believe that si gouvernement pa pay I will not pay my hospital bill because my government in power, because our government, our politicians have rendered our people so dependent on them. So they feel the hospital should be free, they're not supposed to pay, and let the politicians take care of that. Now, we need to change our style of governing, and we need to educate St. Lucians a little more about the importance of them paying the debts to the hospital in order for them to get better healthcare service.
If we want the country to move on, we have to pay our debts. I mean, do something. If we can pay a big one, spare a small margin, then we see where we can reach. But the country have to move on.
St. Lucian should pay. Come on, don't look at government to give us everything. That is ridiculous because health is very expensive. Health is expensive. We St. Lucian, we're taking everything for a ride. Don't mind you back in that party and you back in that party. We don't look at a party forum here. We look at business-wise to run the country and run the country efficiently. Like I said, St. Lucian, you have to help the government because we don't make money. The thing we had is banana. We have nothing. It's the tax we have to pay to run the country. Don't put government, opposition, and no, take this down. Let's run the country. And I agree for St. Lucian to pay.
I think St. Lucian should pay the debt, because if you pay your debts, it will help out the situation. So the people that owe in the debts, go ahead and pay it. You understand? And Lucians like to do that. Lucians don't like paying debts. We just don't like paying debts. So pay the debts, man, to let things ease up on us. So go ahead and pay the debts. You understand? I support that. I support that we pay our debts in the hospital. So let's see what will happen when we pay our debts. So they will not say anything like, okay, they don't have money to pay for equipment and to pay doctors and nurses and all kind of thing like that. And maybe people will maybe live a little longer. So the nurses and the doctors will be able to take care of us. So let's pay our debts. St. Lucians, let's pay our debts.
The news continues after the break with PR Daily. Stay with us.
Advertise to a captive audience. Make your business a star with Choice TV. Call today for your advertising package. Make the right choice. Call 728-9652.
Courts presents their 2026 all-range event. Be inspired at all Court stores nationwide. Come see what's new in everyday furniture and appliances. Get a chance to win an Indorama 30-inch stove with appliance purchase of $5,999 or more. Great deals on TVs and wall mounts. Everyday great value on mattresses. Bedroom bundle deals up to 25% off. Be inspired at the Courts 2026 all-range event. Affordable convenience for your home. Only at Courts. Bringing value home. Offer ends July 25th, 2026. Conditions apply.
If you suffer with pain from fibromyalgia, lupus, sickle cell anemia, sciatica, or arthritis, Lockley DeCoste doctor specialists from overseas in St. Lucia will diagnose and treat patients who have been suffering long. Lockley DeCoste specialists will treat the symptoms of stroke, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries with shoulders, elbows, knees, back, and neck pain, even plantar fasciitis being a pain of the past. Lockley DeCoste specialists in St. Lucia EMG tests will measure the damage in neuromuscular disorders and diabetic neuropathy, because Lockley DeCoste doctor specialist provides proper diagnosis using the most effective treatment for you to live free of pain.
Welcome back to Choice News Now Prime. Here's PR Daily with Kishana Smith.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to PR Daily, your trusted source for the latest press releases, important announcements, community initiatives, and events. I am your presenter, Kishana Smith. Supporting mothers, strengthening families, and building healthier communities. That's the focus of this year's Breastfeeding Awareness Month. The Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Nutrition has officially launched the month-long observance, highlighting the importance of breastfeeding as the foundation for lifelong health. More in this report.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition officially launched Breastfeeding Awareness Month with an opening ceremony at the Miko Secondary School, bringing together healthcare professionals, mothers, and community members to reaffirm the importance of breastfeeding in giving every child the best possible start in life. Held under the theme Breastfeeding for a Sustainable Start in Life, Strengthen What Works, the ceremony highlighted the shared responsibility of creating an environment where mothers feel informed, empowered, and supported to breastfeed successfully. Chief Nutritionist Lisa Hunt, in her welcome address, reaffirms the ministry's commitment to strengthening breastfeeding support.
Successful breastfeeding is not solely the responsibility of mothers. It requires a collective support of families, healthcare providers, employers, communities, and the policymakers. Every mother deserves accurate, evidence-based information about breastfeeding. Skilled guidance from trained health professionals and a supportive environment that enables her to breastfeed with confidence and dignity. Here in St. Lucia, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition remains committed to promoting, protecting, and supporting breastfeeding through evidence-based policies, baby-friendly initiatives, healthcare worker training, community education, and partnerships with national and regional stakeholders.
District Medical Officer Dr. Aaron Ajuda encouraged families to embrace breastfeeding, highlighting its far-reaching benefits.
I just want to encourage us to continue to encourage our patients, our families to breastfeed. My recommendation as a father is to ensure that in the benefits of breastfeeding that we add that there is benefits for the father as well, benefits for the soul, economic benefits, benefits for the relationship, health benefits as well, okay? Because it keeps you at peace, it keeps you in love, it keeps your mind at a state of emotional stability.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Nutrition, Honorable Moses Baptist, commended healthcare workers for their ongoing advocacy in breastfeeding support.
I want to applaud the staff for keeping this awareness going year after year, and our government is aware that diet and good nutrition is essential for good health. It has to be part of the package of initiatives that must be supported in order for us to have this one health that we're talking about. That it's not just the medications and the doctor's advice and the nurse advice and the health aides and so on, but diet and nutrition must really continue to take center stage.
Throughout Breastfeeding Awareness Month, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition will continue to promote education and awareness on breastfeeding and encourage families, workplaces and communities to create supportive environments that enable mothers to breastfeed successfully. From the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Nutrition, I am Onika McCoy.
The St. Lucia Social Development Fund brought roughly more than a dozen boys from communities across the island to the Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School in Vieux-Fort for a 6-day residential camp last week, part of its ongoing Our Boys Matter mentorship program. Organizers designed the retreat to steer vulnerable young men toward discipline, self-worth, and leadership, pairing them with mentors, educators, and business figures willing to invest in their future.
More than 12 boys from different parts of the island came together at the Beanfield Secondary School campus for 6 nights, brought in by the St. Lucia Social Development Fund to give them close support and guidance they might not get at home. Massey Store's Denver manager, Kendrick Henry, was one of the sponsors on hand, reminding the group that where they come from does not decide who they become.
Leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about making the right decisions, showing respect, taking responsibility, and having the courage to persevere when life becomes difficult. There will be moments when people doubt you, when obstacles seem overwhelming, or when giving up feels easier than pushing forward. In those moments, remember that resilience is built one decision at a time.
The camp also included hands-on work, not just talk. Male artist Najah Simeon, known to the boys as Saki, led them through a public art project, telling them art is meant to be thought-provoking.
And the artwork that you painted today has made a lot of people comment as they pass in. The wall was grey, and now everyone is talking about the wall. And one thing I've always told people, art is supposed to make you think. That's the role of art. And the artist has one of the greatest jobs on earth. They can make people stop and think, okay?
The school itself opened its doors after a simple ask. Beanfield Comprehensive Secondary School principal Lorna Ambrose, who has seen the program help her own students before, said yes right away to host the boys overnight.
Let me let you know that it will not happen overnight. It will come with effort, it will come with perseverance, it will come with challenges. But guess what? If you don't give up, if you don't give in, if you follow the directives and the instructions that were given to you, you will become the better version of yourself.
For the fund, the goal went beyond just bringing boys together. Executive Director John Victorin told the group that real steady support, not just kind words, is what keeps young men from ending up in trouble.
Okay, gentlemen, the main reason why we decided to organize this camp, it is simply because we believe that you can be the best possible version of yourself with support from agencies like ours. We believe that you all could be outstanding young men once you all get the support.
Organizers say this marks the first of more mentorship activities to come under Our Boys Matter, with future events planned in months ahead.
And finally, the Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food Security has announced that the 2026-27 lobster fishing season runs from August 2nd, 2026 to February 28th, 2027. While lobster fishing, sale and purchase are permitted during the open season, strict regulations remain in place to protect the fishery. Undersized, egg-bearing and molting lobsters cannot be caught, possessed, sold or purchased. Sparing or hooking lobsters is also prohibited, as is the removal of eggs. Lobsters must measure at least 9.5 centimeters or 3.75 inches in length or have a minimum tail weight of 340 grams or 12 ounces. Anyone found violating the regulations may face a maximum fine of $85,000. The public is thereby encouraged to report suspected violations to the Police Marine Unit, district police stations, or the Department of Fisheries. And that's all for today's edition of PR Daily. If you have a press release that you want to share with our audience, send us an email at news.choicemedianetwork@gmail.com. Thank you for watching PR Daily, and do stay tuned for more news and updates. Back to you, Sheen.
Thank you, Kishana. Let's now take a look at the local weather forecast.
Mrs. Modest, your business is strong, but this expansion is way too ambitious.
We will be far more comfortable with a smaller fees.
It's not the business, it's the scale. Maybe reduce the scope?
Mrs. Modest, we love your vision, and we have the right loan product to bring it to life.
When your plans are bigger and bolder and others don't see you, BOSL Elite Builders Capital Plus gives you the backing to move ahead. With 5% interest, up to 15 years to repay, 20% down, and a credit card of up to $100,000. BOSL Elite Builders Capital Plus, bringing bigger plans to life.
Massey Store's waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Store's City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and ring-a-ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Advertise to a captive audience. Make your business a star with Choice TV. Call today for your advertising package. Make the right choice. Call 728-9652.
Welcome back. Here's Sienna Danson with our regional news package.
Welcome to the regional news package. I'm your presenter, Sienna Dalso. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew recently led members of the media on a tour of 10 major capital projects being undertaken by the government as part of its Sustainable Island State agenda. The initiative was aimed at providing journalists with a first-hand look at the progress of several developments across the country. As part of the tour, members of the media took an up-close look at projects in housing, education, agriculture, heritage, and much more. We hear more on this from Television Caribbean's Andre Huey.
Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew recently led members of the media on a tour of 10 major capital projects being undertaken by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis as part of its Sustainable Island State agenda. The initiative was aimed at providing journalists with a first-hand look at the progress of several developments across the country. The projects visited included the Kim Collins Athletic Stadium, housing developments in Otleys and St. Peters, the Symbol of Love Monument and Museum at the former Fort Thomas Hotel site, the Cardian Home, the Greenhouse Farm in Newton Ground, the Bastia High School, the Creative Arts Center, the Bird Rock Desalination Plant, and the Joshua Obadiah Primary School. It was the National Housing Corporation's housing development in Otleys, where General Manager Janelle Rollins provided an update on construction and outlined the project's role in expanding access to affordable housing.
There are actually 20 lots. Some of the lots have been in foundation stages, but we have developed 10 out of the 20, and we are in finishing stages for most of them.
The tour then moved to the Joshua Obadiah Primary School, where engineer Lorraine Gums highlighted the modern facilities being incorporated into the new campus, replacing the school that was destroyed by fire in 2022.
The different amenities, as I said, is the separating the auditorium from the classrooms. Before, the classrooms had bifold doors, and when the community or the school were having a function, they will open the doors, move away the chairs. Now you do not have to do that. You have a dedicated auditorium, so you do not interrupt the children. When they come at morning times, they go straight in the classwork, as opposed to having to rearrange the class again. There's also a meeting room.
At the Greenhouse Farm in Newton Ground, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Randall Thompson, explained that the initiative will create new opportunities for local farmers to increase agricultural production and strengthen the country's food security. He noted that the project is expected to be completed before the end of 2026.
We will also move forward in terms of making sure all the greenhouses are properly covered and ready to go. As the Honourable Minister mentioned, that we'll have a cooperative here to help with the management of it. We're expecting to have also storage facilities where the goods, where the produce can be stored before being transported to the marketing unit as well, to be sent to our local stakeholders, restaurants, hotels, etc.
At the Symbol of Love Monument and Museum, currently under construction on the site of the former Fort Thomas Hotel, Prime Minister Drew expressed satisfaction with the pace of work and described the development as an important addition to the nation's heritage and tourism product.
One, it is a museum. It will have local, regional and international appeal. We will make sure that our history is preserved here, because that is principally what it is. As you entered, you see a space there. Our first national hero will be there. Our first national hero being His Excellency Robert Llewellyn Bratcher, who is now on our $50 EC dollar, which will come out in a year and a half. His statue will be placed at the entrance.
The delegation also visited the Cardian home, where the parliamentary representative for St. Christopher III, Conris Maynard, provided an update on the rehabilitation and redevelopment of the facility.
It's about improving the services that the Cardian home would offer. And so it's a wholesome renovation, rehabilitation, especially to mark the 100th anniversary and to also keep the commitment of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party-led administration.
In St. Peters, the Prime Minister, who serves as the area's parliamentary representative, spoke about the significance of the National Housing Corporation's newest housing development and the opportunities it will create for families in the community.
And these houses are very much ready to be distributed at this particular time. I'm very, very proud of this. As you know, St. Peters is the largest growing area in St. Kitts and Nevis right now, and the largest outside of Bastia. So we have a significant population, relatively, of course, to our total population here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I want to thank the NHC for what they have done, and to thank the local contractors.
At the site of the Creative Arts Centre, the minister responsible for creative economy outlined the scale of the project and emphasized its importance in supporting the growth and development of the country's creative industries.
This centre has been hailed by its design as one of the best centres for the creative arts in the hemisphere. It was just recently I saw posts from a renowned Jamaican promoter, in fact one of the biggest promoters in Jamaica, who hailed St. Kitts and Nevis and the Creative Arts Centre and saying even Jamaica could do well with following that trend.
The tour continued at the desalination plant in Bird Rock, where Minister of Public Infrastructure Conris Maynard explained how the facility will significantly improve reliability of water supply to Bastia and surrounding communities.
When we came to this administration, less than 25% of the population on St. Kitts had access to 24-hour water. With what we have done across the island, including the well in Keon, pipeline upgrades, tank upgrades, and this 2 million gallon per day desalination plant, we have moved that figure from below 25% to almost 70% of St. Kitts having access to 24-hour water.
Final stop was the Bastia High School construction site, where officials provided an update on progress toward the completion of the new state-of-the-art educational facility.
So this school where you're standing right now is going to be 150,000 square feet of usable space with 170,000 square feet of athletic area. It's comprised of 5 buildings, 2 academic buildings, Building B and Building A. And then where you're standing right now will be the future auditorium, and next to that behind you will be the gymnasium. So we are complete the foundations for Building B. We are already onto Building A, and as you can see, we're starting to grade out the auditorium over there, and this area here, the gymnasium, will start right behind that.
The media tour gave journalists direct access to several flagship government projects that are under construction, being rehabilitated, or already delivering essential services. The initiative forms part of the government's effort to keep the public informed on the progress of major national development projects and investments. I'm Andre Huey reporting for TVC Channel 40 News.
In an evolving controversy regarding the leadership of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Guyana's Bar Council has condemned a recent leak of correspondences among the court's judges. The Bar Council expressed significant concern over how it is that confidential correspondences manage to make their way into the court of public opinion. We hear more from HGP TV's Travis Chase.
The Bar Council of the Bar Association of Guyana has entered the growing controversy surrounding the Caribbean Court of Justice, condemning the unauthorized disclosure of internal correspondence among the court's judges, while expressly refusing to pronounce on the substance of what was reportedly contained in those communications. The statement comes against the backdrop of reports of significant internal discord at the region's highest court, including allegations concerning the leadership and administrative style of the CCJ President, Justice Winston Anderson. But while those reported concerns have triggered questions about the internal governance of one of the Caribbean's most important judicial institutions, the Guyana Bar Council has chosen to focus its intervention squarely on how the correspondence was able to make its way into the public domain. According to the Council, internal correspondence and deliberations among judges are and must remain confidential. It warned that the disclosure of such material, irrespective of its contents, risks bringing the administration of justice into disrepute. The Council went further, declaring that any unauthorized disclosure to the media would amount to what it called a gross breach of confidence and a serious dereliction of duty by whoever was responsible. At the same time, the Bar Council defended the need for the President of the CCJ to be given sufficient latitude to articulate and implement a vision for the court and the principles governing its administration, subject to the court's Code of Judicial Conduct. Significantly, however, the Council made clear that it was expressing no view whatsoever on the substance of the matters raised in the leaked correspondence. While the Bar Council has strongly condemned the act of leaking the correspondence, its statement neither endorses nor rejects the reported concerns about the judges themselves. The controversy is particularly significant for Guyana, where the CCJ serves as the country's final appellate court and exercises original jurisdiction in interpreting and applying the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. The Bar Council says the court must remain a bastion of justice in the Caribbean and that its institutional integrity must be respected, protected, and preserved. But, with serious allegations now in the public domain, the debate is no longer confined to who leaked the correspondence. Increasing attention is also being placed on what the reported internal dispute could mean for confidence in the leadership, governance, and institutional integrity of the Caribbean's highest court. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
And that's all for the regional news package. Back to you, Shane.
Thank you, Sienna. Our final segment coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Life is full of tough choices. This one shouldn't be one of them. Wait, 9 pieces for $35? That's crazy. But do I need KFC today? I mean, I had it. When did I last have KFC? Oh yeah, that was a good day. Okay, wait. If I don't buy it, someone else will. And what if they take the last bucket? Yep, right decision. Definitely the right decision. KFC Crazy Tuesday, because some deals are too good to resist.
Massey Store's waterfront is now temporarily closed for renovations for approximately 3 months. You are welcome to continue shopping with us at Massey Store's City Store or Leclerc, where you can enjoy double points on Wednesdays and Fridays, weekly sampling, and Ring-a-Ding Fridays during the renovations. Thank you for your understanding and continued support of Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Welcome back. Before we end tonight's broadcast, here's our update. Across Asia, infant mortality rates have fallen to record lows, reflecting major improvements in healthcare and living standards. India recorded a decline from 30 infant deaths per 1,000 live births in 2019 to 20 in 2024. Several states saw reductions of nearly 50%, supported in part by wider access to medical care during childbirth. China reported an infant mortality rate of 3.8 per 1,000 live births in 2025, while mortality among children fell under 5 to 5.4 per 1,000. The country has expanded maternal and child health services, including free medical care for children up to age 6. Indonesia has also made significant progress, recording its lowest infant mortality rate of 14 per 1,000 live births in 2024, representing a 50% decline since 2010. Together, the figures highlight substantial gains in child survival across 3 of Asia's most populous countries. And with that, we come to the end of our primetime newscast. On behalf of the entire Choice TV family, thank you for staying with us. Stay tuned for more quality programming on Choice TV.